Winning Point Podcast, Episode 2. In this week's episode, we're going to talk about
the Indianapolis Colts and their quarterback decision.
We're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens and how they look this preseason, and we're introducing our new segment,
African Player of the Week.
Welcome to the Winning Point Podcast, Episode 2. It's been a few weeks. A lot has happened. We're excited to be here. I am Rex. I'm with my brother,
Tony Della,
and our wonderful producer,
Paul.
Paul.
What's up?
How's up, Paul? How you doing?
I'm good.
Awesome. So, a lot has happened over the last couple of weeks, and one of the big things in the NFL right now concerns your team, the Indy Colts, and your head coach has chosen his quarterback for the season, which has kind of split the fan base. I want to know where you fall on that, and how do you feel about the decision, and what do you think it means for your season and your team going forward?
I don't think it's changed much from my standpoint. I think last week I made it kind of clear that I was rooting for AR to be the starting quarterback.
Anthony Richardson.
Yes, Anthony Richardson. Our
fifth overall pick 3 years ago.
Was it fourth, I think.
Was it fourth pick?
Yeah, fourth, I think. But yeah. So 3 years ago, he was our fourth overall pick. Very inexperienced raw quarterback out of Florida. Came off well in his first year. Got injured. I think he played up to week 6 before he was on IR. Looked promising. Came back the following season. Didn't do as well.
Which was last season.
Last season, yes. Very, very mixed. Showed flashes, but not good enough to be a franchise quarterback as far as his total body of work.
Right.
Which brings us to this season. A lot was on his shoulders. To give you a brief or a little bit of history about the team, they've been in a quarterback carousel since Andrew Luck retired, which was 2019. So since then, we've
abruptly retired in the middle of a preseason game, ironically.
Yes, 2019. And I think we've had about 11 quarterbacks start since then.
Jeez.
Crazy, I know.
Sounds like the Browns.
Yes, which is sad. Considering that at one point we're a staple of success.
Right.
But, this season, a lot was, put on his shoulders to, improve. And the team brought in Daniel Jones, the former starting quarterback of the New York Giants, as you may know or may not.
He was a 6th overall pick in 2017, I believe.
Yes.
2017?
Well, he's been in the league for 6 years, right?
So
at least.
2019.
Yeah. So,
yes.
Yeah. He didn't pan out so well in New York, so he was let go. We picked him up this free agency to inspire or spark some competition between him and AR to see who would be the starting quarterback. Initially, I thought it was just something to get AR rolling, get him a little motivated,
right.
Approach the game in a different angle, kind of like how they did with Alec Pierce last year when they drafted Adonai Mitchell and brought the best out of him. Throughout the whole training camp and preseason thus far, the competition has been close, as in the performance levels on both have been close. I don't think any of them separated from each other like remarkably.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I think Anthony Richardson showed some more flash than Daniel Jones.
Right.
Daniel Jones appeared to be the safer of the two. The issue I have with this pick of Daniel Jones.
So you have an issue with it?
I do have an issue with it.
Okay.
I don't understand the end goal. I think whenever you pick these things, I think they should be a long-term goal for why you picked.
Right.
Picking Daniel Jones to start or play the whole season with Anthony Richardson on the bench, hypothetically speaking, best case scenario, we make the playoffs with Daniel Jones. I mean, anything can happen in the playoffs, but realistically, I think we've seen what Daniel Jones can do in this league, and we make the playoffs. Best case scenario, we win one game.
Yeah.
We lose, we're out. Where is this going? Yeah, where is this going? Are you going to extend Daniel Jones where we've seen what I think we've seen his ceiling? His ceiling
we have. Absolutely.
is capped.
So let me ask this. So to be fair to Daniel Jones has only had, I believe, one completely healthy season, and he went to the playoffs and won a game with Dayball. The thing about Daniel Jones and what makes him attractive to a lot of like head coaches is Daniel Jones listens to exactly what he's doing. He's going to do exactly what you want him to do.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones' first read is this guy in the slant. He's throwing it. That's Daniel Jones. You're not going to get anything beyond what is expected of him when he's healthy. AR has a higher ceiling, which everybody can tell. It feels to be like your head coach started watching his back about his job, and that's why he's going with a safer bet. That's what it feels like. Like right now, it's like, okay, now we have new ownership sort of. There's expectations are a little higher. The things are going on. Remember the last conversation we had about the headphones and everything and the being full of shit? I feel like there is pressure inside for more success than you guys have had. Think about it this way. Those girls grew up as kids in an era of greatness in Indy. So I think they want to get back to that just for them and for the legacy of their father. And I think they're putting pressure on the team. And the head coach is like, the only way I can see us, instead of growing through the season, is at least have some success. Go 8-9, 9-8, or whatever. Get into the playoffs. It's a more successful season than we've had if we make the playoffs. What happens after, we'll deal with that later. But the fans don't seem to be excited about that. The players don't seem to be as excited about that as I kind of expected. And now that's what I want you to talk to me more about, the energy going into the season for the fans and the team.
I want to add to what you were saying as far as job security. I also think from another lens, I think his confidence is a bit shot. Because
Anthony, that is.
No. Shane Steichen. This is his first coaching stint, right?
Good point.
And throughout his coaching stint, they've basically had losing seasons. The main reason has been because of the quarterback.
Right.
The one time that they looked competent was when they had Gardner Minshew at the helm. And that's where he had a quarterback that wasn't spectacular in ability. But
he did what? He listened and did what he was told.
And he was safe in the sense that, there was like you can trust him at the line of scrimmage to make the right read pre snapping and make the right read as far as who to pass the ball to.
Yeah, where the ball should go.
It enabled Shane Steichen to get into his creativity and what his element of greatness or what he's good at, which is play calling and offensive scheming. And I think for him to be able to get back to that from a confidence standpoint, he needs to have a quarterback that he can trust to execute those kind of things.
Yeah.
And since AR has been there, he has not been able to do that. And I think realistically, his confidence is, in addition to what you were saying about job security,
stress, pressure
yes,
from the
he
top.
needs to at least reinforce himself that I can actually do this job.
Right.
Why they hired me to do this job, I can actually do this job. And I think he also he's acknowledged that the roster that he has now is pretty talented.
It's a very good roster.
It's a pretty good roster.
Opinion.
So in his eyes, there's a quarterback. If he has a quarterback that is at the very least a game manager and is not turnover heavy, which is ironic. We'll get to that. Which is not turnover heavy, doesn't make the silly reads pre-snap or as volatile.
Right.
He can rely on his play calling to get them
to have some success.
Yes, with the talent that they have, and he's also banking on the defense taking a stride forward.
Right.
Regardless, in my opinion, if that doesn't work out, he still can.
He still can.
So I would go for the gamble, because AR has shown strides of improvement in training camp. And worst case, even if you don't make the playoffs with AR and you see improvement, you're on the right track going down the line.
Good point. But then there's also the political aspect of it and the contract aspect of it, which is if AR has a great season, what are you doing after that? Are you picking up the fifth-year option and hoping that... Hold on, I'm getting somewhere.
Yeah.
And hoping that he keeps improving. Because I remember in 2012, we had a quarterback in Baltimore by the name of Joe Flacco, and he was playing on his fifth-year option, goes to the playoffs, and has a Montana type of playoffs.
Yeah.
And we give him the bag. We pay him, and we're like, okay, this is it. This is what we're expecting. You remember the scene from Bad Boys, where Martin Lawrence is driving,
Yeah,
and then
that's
Will
how you
Smith
drive.
goes,
That's
"From
how you
now on,
drive."
that's how you
Yeah.
drive." So that's what we thought we were getting with Flacco, and Flacco just came back to being Flacco, and we were hooked with him to a contract,
Yeah.
and it just dragged us down. We never had success till Lamar came.
Yeah.
So I think there's that fear of being stuck with him if he has some level of success, but you don't know if it's team success or if it's just him success. So having a guy who we all know he's not the reason the team is going to win the games. If the team wins games, it's because of the team. And Daniel Jones will make the coaching staff feel better about what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might also play into his decision. I mean, we'll never know, but those are the speculations that I have.
If what you're saying is true, then why do you still have him on the roster?
Anthony Richardson?
Yeah, just trade him at this point. If that's your fear, and
That's a good
why
point.
why is he on the roster? Just trade him.
That's a
There are
good
teams
point.
that are actually willing to take that gamble. Like
Yeah.
there's the Rams. I feel there's the Raiders. There's a few teams that are
Absolutely,
waiting.
absolutely.
So if that's their mentality, trade him.
and this is what
Doesn't make any
makes
sense.
this is what makes it feel like a bad decision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's completely.
It doesn't
a bad
make
decision.
all the
It
sense
doesn't
you
make-
want it to be.
At least for the parties at the helm right now. As for Ballard, him and his staff have botched it.
10 years, man. This is year 10.
I think yeah, in year 9. I think it's year 9.
It's 10.
Is it 10?
Year 10.
Okay, but yeah, he's the reason why we're here. Him and his staff. I mean, he's been a good GM as far as roster building, but
Right.
management has been terrible.
On the bright side, he's definitely making use of that gym in Indy.
Oh, he's always been
He's
always
always-
been swole.
Yeah.
So
Well, and then now this leads to the
yeah.
last part of my question, which
yeah.
is, what is your outlook for the season with Daniel
it
Jones
changes.
at the helm?
It changes.
What do you think is your ceiling and your floor?
Our ceiling 9 games winning.
Who are you? What's your schedule? Do you have a tough schedule?
No, but it wasn't tough last year either.
Oh,
So
that's-
it's like
But if your defense you believe is a little better, you have more talent. Tyler
Yeah.
Warren he's looking like the next big thing to me. He's going to be a top 5 tight end.
oh
He's gonna be
yeah,
a top
he's
2
the real
tight
deal.
end.
I
You
think
have a running back who's an all-pro running back already. You have weapons.
no, there's weapons.
So
I think I remember I like referring to even last week when we asked this question about the division. I thought we had a solid run
you did say you had a chance
with
of
AR
possibly winning it.
if he pans out.
Right.
I think now it's pretty much the Texans to lose, and the only way I think they lose it is if the offensive line is still garbage.
Right.
Because in my opinion, they've upgraded on offensive weapons as far as
Oh yeah.
wide receivers. They don't have Stephon Diggs, but I think they're more dynamic with the people they've drafted and who they've signed.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is elite, in my opinion. I think maybe the only thing missing is a run game. They picked up Nick Chubb and they have Mixon. I don't know how that'll help. That all predicates on the line again.
Well,
But the offensive line, if it plays well, I think they win this in their
you have
sleep.
no hope in the Jags and
The
Trevor?
Jags are worse. I think the Jags are even worse than us
Oh,
because
wow.
they have a terrible line. Their defense sucks. They have good pass rushers, but the defense isn't good.
They have King Two-Way.
King.
They have the first ever two-way player
Oh.
in the NBA and rookie.
That doesn't matter if
Travis Hunter.
It doesn't matter if your line is still porous, which it looks like they haven't really fixed,
Right.
and their defense isn't good. The
Yeah.
defense has pass rushers, but that's
about it.
That's
Yeah,
it.
pass rushers and not a lot
Tennessee will be fun to watch, but they're not there yet. They're coming up. They're like
Right.
a young, So I even give us a better shot with Daniel Jones to finish higher than the
Wow.
Jaguars. But
Can I give you some hope with Daniel Jones?
Yeah, please give
Some
us
positive hope.
Give me some positive.
What
Let me
if?
hear this.
What if Daniel Jones is the quarterback version of Saquon Barkley? Saquon did nothing at the Giants, and he is like
His was a little
a
different.
stud.
Saquon
because
wasn't healthy a lot of times, and Saquon was leaned on to carry the offense a lot of times. which,
Saquon played
like if you play the Giants, stop Saquon.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's one thing. 2, they had one of the worst offensive lines, pass blocking and run blocking, and when he was healthy, he still was a pretty good player.
Yeah.
Still was a pretty good player. And he showed flashes that he could be elite. I don't think Daniel has ever shown us flashes that he.
If there's a Daniel Jones comparison or some hope for Daniel Jones, I will look more to the Sam Darnolds, the Baker Mayfields, the Geno Smiths, the guys that people gave up on and they went somewhere else and revamped their
I
careers.
agree. And to be fair, Paul, I believe this is the best scenario he's been put into in his career, like as far as offensive line and weapons.
Right.
That's kind of my point, right?
Yeah,
it's like
right.
the Giants were kind of crap.
Yeah,
Wow, right?
yeah, exactly.
they were.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
Yeah, in my opinion, I think he is a better version of Gardner Minshew the year we knocked at the door of the playoffs. So it's possible that my thing is, even if we make the playoffs, what is the end goal? Because if you're here to sign just a game manager long term, because now if he goes to the playoffs, you're now obligated to extend him with decent money. And
because
he's going
you
to
can't get a quarterback in the draft because you're too high.
We're too high. He is the more expensive option between him and Anthony Richardson because he's a veteran.
And this would be his third contract. Vet minimum.
So to me, long term, it just doesn't make sense.
Well, it makes sense to me because what you could do is Anthony Richardson could learn from him. He plays 1 year, he does okay, and then Anthony steps up next year.
I explored that. That mindset where maybe they're taking a step back to try to do the old school thing with Aaron Rodgers or
and Jordan Love,
where they sit. They should have done that. This is why I say he
should have done that 2 years ago with Flacco. Yes.
But let's just say that's the case.
Right.
You have to hope Anthony Richardson's on the same boat because you have to also think about how is he thinking now? Have they given up on me?
With this? Yeah.
And is this disrespectful to me? Do I want to be here? That kind of thing. If he's on board, miraculously that could work out. But this should have been done, like Rex said, 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, another Flacco time. They should have done this.
And honestly speaking, I don't know if in the locker room they say Daniel Jones approaches business in a very professional way. But I don't for me, if you have a quarterback in that learning curve, learning on this, you want someone that is, has a blueprint of doing well. Maybe this is the year that he has the blueprint, but I don't know if he is the guy that you want AR to learn under, right? Like Andrew Luck had Tim Hasselbeck, who he had been to the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's very different with Daniel Jones, but
and Daniel Jones is also not that much ahead of AR, where he's like the veteran leader savvy.
Exactly.
And that's not even his personality per se. So I don't know how that's gonna work out.
So I don't know.
The Locked On Colts guys described Daniel Jones.
I follow them. Shout out to them. Good.
Yeah, shout out to them. They described Daniel Jones as like a coach's son. Yeah. What the coach says is what he's going to do. Yeah. So that's what Steichen wants. Steichen is believing. He's believing in his ability to call a winning game. Exactly. Regardless of who's out there, but they need to follow what he's calling, which AR has had a streak of being wild. Yeah. So there's that, and I understand it. Yeah. But and I would say this: when Lamar came in 2018, it was a wild thing to watch. It was like watching cheetahs chase antelope in the woods or in the savannah. It wasn't a structured game when he was there.
Look at how you handle it.
But that's my point.
That's the difference.
But that's my point. But everybody there was a lot of, for lack of a better term, not to be disrespectful to the indie coaches have, there was a lot of sense in the Baltimore coaching
100%.
room, because we're like 100%. Flacco has taken us as far as he can.
100%.
We know what Flacco is going to do. Let's find out what this kid can do. Yeah. And then they gave him the job. And then the funny thing is, there was the playoff game in 2018 against the Chargers where he just looked completely lost for 3.5 quarters. And they started the crowd started chanting, "We want Flacco, pop, all that." And then the coaches were like, "Nah, we're gonna stay." And I believe they even went to ask Flacco, "You want to go?" And Flacco was like, "Nah, man. Let the boy. Don't do this to him. Let him finish." Yeah. And he does it. And what does he do the following year? Unanimous MVP.
There you go.
You sometimes just have to believe in the product that you have. But the problem with AR also is AR doesn't have reps, and that's the thing. He hasn't seen a lot. And we went to the preseason game with the Colts.
By the time we got there, he was on the pitch.
Right. But the fourth play, he missed the pre-snap call. Yeah. And somebody, 90 just runs right at him, hits him and dislocates his finger. Yeah. Wow. And it's like, and everybody's like, this is preseason. The calls are not complicated on offense or defense. For you to miss that, there's a lot of questions that we have to ask. And I think that's where the problem was. And when we got there, you could tell he was like, I want to fix this. I want to go back in. He was holding his helmet. He wanted to get back in. And they didn't give him the chance, which they shouldn't because he's injured. But it's like he's not the luckiest guy with regards to health. Mm-hmm. And when he's healthy and on the field, he makes some boneheaded decisions where you're like, what is this? But when he is on, boy, he's fun to watch.
100%. I think, again, back to Ballard. I like Ballard. I just think he completely botched this. I think off camera we've had conversations about how I see, if in a perfect world, how I saw or how I see Anthony Richardson's trajectory, and it kind of mirrors Donovan McNabb.
Right. Wildly inaccurate. Coach believed in him, held it together. He kept growing through the process. Eventually made it to a Super Bowl where he threw up in his shoes or whatever.
The thing is, who was around him when he came in? Right. It was Andy Reid. Right. Similar to Mahomes. Mahomes was much better, much more polished than McNabb. But McNabb...
He was more talented. I won't say polished.
He was. McNabb has like one season where he's passed over 50%, or is it 2?
Right.
In his whole career, he's been...
Anyway.
you know what I mean? But like, Andy Reid was at the helm. So he knew how to handle the situation. He knew, like... Okay, we're gonna expect head scratchers from Donovan McNabb, and you see them. I randomly was watching, not recently, but like maybe last year, I was randomly watching old Colts games, and we were playing the Eagles. Mm-hmm. I think that was like the first or second start for McNabb. It was like watching Anthony Richardson today.
Right.
Some of the passes that he threw, just terrible. Mm-hmm. His reads, but like he had that rawness of knowing how to escape pressure, that kind of thing.
Well, I would say, we will see what happens. That's the beauty of the NFL season. Yeah. It's a reality show. It's a soap opera. We'll find out what happens by week 4.
He shouldn't have been prepared.
Danny might be on the bench.
I guess what I'm getting at, he shouldn't have been paired with Steichen, being that Steichen is an inexperienced coach as well. So like he wouldn't know, like with a talent that raw, not necessarily, not just as far as reps, but how to approach the game professionally, all of the above, having to manage that personality when you're used to having polished quarterbacks like Justin Herbert. I mean, Jalen Hurts wasn't as polished, but he had a more professional grooming coming into the league. Okay. I think this one caught Steichen off guard.
Gotcha.
And you could, as you saw last year, he benched him, brought him back in. Clearly, he didn't know what he was doing.
There's a lot going on there.
So it was just poorly managed.
We will see. It's going to be an interesting thing to pay attention to. Yeah. But let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the Baltimore Ravens. There isn't a lot to talk about because the boys are ready, man. The boys look ready. We haven't seen a lot of the starters in preseason, but even the backups we've seen, they look ready. They look like on top of it. There's aggression. The defense is violent. And then Marlon Humphrey did talk in an interview before preseason started about how they want this defense to get back to the Ed and Ray times. Shout out to Ray over my shoulder. To the Ed and Ray times where we were feared. It was violent. You come to Baltimore, somebody's getting hurt. Yeah. Your touchdowns are very hard to come by. That's what they want. And I feel like they showed that. Our defensive coordinator, Zacho, former linebacker, undrafted, so he loves guys that are coming from the bottom. And I want to talk about some of these unbelievable kids that we saw in these preseason games. There was an undrafted linebacker, number 49. His name is going to come to me. But he was all over the field. He was making tackles. He was trying to strip balls. And even on special teams, the team just looks good and ready.
Polished.
Yeah. But then yesterday, we had a bit of an interesting thing came up. Lamar Jackson left the practice field. And from what I heard, all the reports, he got hit and he fell. And he was like twisting his wrist, like how when you hurt your wrist.
Was it his throwing hand?
Hold on. It was his throwing hand. And then Qadri Ismail, who was a receiver on the Ravens team that won the Super Bowl, he does a lot of Ravens reporting and covering. He talked about how his throws were kind of errant after that. His throws weren't like
crisp.
Before even that, like his throws weren't like good. He was overthrowing people and everything. So it seems like there's something there.
Yeah.
But then he goes into the locker room. And then the coach comes and says, "Oh, somebody stepped on his foot." And we're like, "Foot? We saw him twisting his arm. What is foot? We didn't see the foot." But then, and it's like, "Oh, it's nothing. It's no big deal." But he has a horrible poker face, so we're like,
"Something's
up." And then today he comes and he's like, "X-rays were negative. Thank God prayers work." And we're like, "Wait a minute. You just said it was nothing. Why are we talking about prayers now and X-rays and everything?" Yeah. It was a little scary.
Yeah.
But I think Lamar's just gonna be. they're just gonna put him in bubble wrap till week 1, and then have him ready to go. And I think the Ravens are gonna have an awesome season. There's not a lot more to add to the Ravens because we just look good.
Yeah.
And and so we'll see how it goes. We've looked good multiple years in the past, and it hasn't gotten us there. So right now we just hope that exactly.
Yeah, that stage is just like we go again.
Right.
Add a few things here and there. We go again until the window closes.
49. The linebacker 49 is Jay Higgins the 4th. He was very very impressive. And then also there's our 4th round pick. I believe he's number 40. He's Teddy. I know his first is
linebacker as well. Yeah,
he's a linebacker as well. They're really really good. The linebackers are looking really good. Oh, and we have a safety who I believe was undrafted, who graduated from I forget which school, but with a 4.0 GPA in some sort of mechanical engineering, I believe. And he's really smart. And he caught an interception on Joe Milton from the Cowboys in the last preseason game.
Yeah.
But I have to preface this by saying there is a running joke about Joe Milton. It's like, if you need a quarterback to throw a ball 75 yards, Joe Milton will throw the ball 75 yards. If you need a quarterback to throw the ball 20 yards, Joe Milton will throw the ball 75 yards. So he's just a cannon.
He's like Anthony Richardson before. Well,
so who knows? But I'm excited about the Ravens, and I'm looking forward to this season. We'll definitely have one more episode to kind of talk about week 1 and what we expect to see and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then we can also now transition to a segment that we want to add to our show every week called the African Player of the Week.
Yeah.
Because part of the goal of this podcast is to talk about football and its growth globally, especially in Africa. Yeah. And we want to highlight some of the African players that are doing well. And this week, the player that we are highlighting is Andrew Makuba from Clemson. Andrew Makuba was born in Harare, Zimbabwe. His parents are from DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. He moved to America when he was 9, and he became a standout football player in Texas. He went to Clemson, and then he was drafted in the 2nd round by the Eagles. And I didn't think much of it at the time, but then I put 2 and 2 together, and I remembered that the Eagles traded C.J. Gardner-Johnson.
Yeah.
So which means we're going to see a lot of Makuba. And in Makuba's first preseason game, he had a tackle, he had an interception, he forced a fumble, he had a pass defense. Okay. Like, he forced a fumble, right?
Was it forced or?
Yeah, it was a forced fumble. Okay. So he's ready. Yeah. He looks good. And I'm excited to see him play. I'm sure we'll probably highlight him again. Yeah. Also because the Eagles secondary is one of the best in the league right now. And they're all young and they're all really, really good. They gave Mahomes hell in the Super Bowl. And Mahomes is considered by most to be the biggest threat to Tom Brady's legacy. So that's something. I'm excited to see
I can see him in like packages because I think they're trying to.
He's a 2nd round pick. He's playing. Yeah. And if he's that good, he's starting.
Yeah, I think the team is looking to move Cooper DeJean in a more was it dime or nickel linebacker? You know how they do the hybrid linebacker, and I think in
the box safety type.
Yeah, he will be playing safety in like proper safety in those packages probably, or vice versa.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how they play.
Well, that'll be exciting. Yeah. All right. With that being said, this is not a super long episode because there's not too much more to cover. Once we have actual games that matter, we will talk a lot more about it. But we're still excited to talk football anyway. Absolutely. Is there anything you are kind of looking forward to between now and the beginning of the season with your Colts at all?
Health.
What's happening there?
They're hobbled, man. Like the secondary is very hobbled. We just signed Xavier Howard. Because of that was how bad. He didn't play last season. Didn't play at all. Yeah. But we're that depleted as far as injuries. So we want people to start coming back. Our linebacker room is also very injured. DeForest Buckner they say it's not serious, but he's injured as well. So there's a bunch of players on the defense, especially that are injured. So let's see between now and week 1 because we'll need them now that Daniel is at the helm. Well, we'll need them regardless because they're both question mark quarterbacks. But yeah, so that's one thing I'm looking health for you.
Health, okay, health. So but you are not playing a lot of your starters in the preseason, so that should be fine regardless.
And now that they've picked, they so one of these bloggers that have access to the media room asked Shane Steichen. So now that you have picked Daniel Jones as your starter, and you were saying once upon a time Anthony Richardson needed reps, why isn't he playing the last preseason game?
Good point.
Oh. We didn't think we need him, so we didn't think we need him to play.
And that's where the problem is. He doesn't get the reps, and when he has a chance to get the reps, he doesn't get the reps.
Dude,
and it's,
I'm just gonna follow this season as a fan because there'll be good football played because it's a good team.
Yeah.
But as far as my expectations, no, I'm just watching as a fan because they haven't proven to me that they know what they're doing. Until they do. Yeah.
Speaking of which, I forgot to mention the Ravens' second-round draft pick, Mike Green, who was projected to be a first-round draft pick, and some issues made him drop down there.
Rusher, right? Pass rusher?
He looks unstoppable. Like he's doing insane pass rush moves. He has spin moves. He's chopping. He looks like he's been in the league for like 5-6 years already. He's been to like 4 Pro Bowls. Yeah. It's very scary to watch him play, and I'm very excited to see what he does. I believe.
Do you think he starts or
he won't start because Ravens respect veterans. We have Kyle Van Noy. Van Noy is going to be on the field. Odafe is in a contract year. He's going to be on the field. Yeah. Tavius Robinson has been coming up and doing really well, so he's going to be on the field before Mike Green. But by week 8, Mike Green's going to be ahead of at least Odafe and Tavius Robinson. He might just be behind KVN because KVN is that dude, and he had double-digit sacks last season. But that boy looks great, man. And then our first-round pick, Malachi Starks, he's a field general, he was, man.
Had we not gotten what's his face, Tyler Warren, he was on our list. He's a solid.
The combination of him, Kyle Hamilton, Jair Alexander, Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, and then when we needed Chidobe Awuzie,
serious secondary.
You are not throwing anything on Baltimore. Secondary. And then if we get the Roquan Smith that we know we deserve, it's gonna be a lot of fun. And our D line, the team just looks good. The whole team, offense, defense, it just looks good. And there's not a lot to say. And I'm very excited to see what they look like. I'm excited to see what the young guys that are trying to make the roster look like this Saturday. There's a few bubble spots still left. Trenton Simpson, who was a linebacker we drafted 2 years ago, he's not quite panned out yet. And then in this preseason, there's been 3 other linebackers that are rookies that have all looked better than him, in my opinion. And I worry for him that he might not make the final roster. And so we'll see. But I'm excited to just watch them. And again, health. I want to make sure that the boys are ready for week 1.
At the end of the day, it's football, so because injuries are there.
Yeah, Buffalo would want to prove to us that their win wasn't a fluke, even though we know it was.
Yeah, funny guy.
But
we shall see. But
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, like to be fair, there's a few people I'm also looking forward to seeing individually. Like Latu looks very, very much the part this offseason and this camp. AD Mitchell, if he can develop some consistency, Mr. Always Open, if he can avoid the bonehead plays. Yeah. I don't know if you saw last week the pass that Anthony Richardson had. It was a deep pass that he threaded into a receiver's right into the bucket, but was called back because AD Mitchell was offside. There was another play that he threaded fairly long. AD Mitchell had another penalty.
That's AD Mitchell, man. I hope he's not just what they call a training camp and preseason Hall of Famer. Yeah. But we'll see.
Cerebrally, we need him also focused. All right. But yeah. So
Anyway, excited. This is a short one. We're not gonna keep you long. It's the Winning Point Podcast, episode 2, and we're out.
Yes, sir.